Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
In today's Destiny 2 build guide, we're going to be using a build that utilizes the new exotic helmet for the Hunter called the Mask of Fealty. This new exotic is going to take our Stasis Hunter to the next level, allowing us to freeze and shatter enemies all over the battlefield. And we'll also be able to take advantage of one of the best damage resists in the game, Frost Armor. If you guys were into Stasis Hunter before, you're going to like it even more now. So Guardians, let's get into the build. Now, a lot of people keep asking me in my other build guides about the new exotic and how to get them. You actually have to go over to Rahul and decrypt prime and exotic engrams, and you have to rank up all the way to rank 16 and then reset over at Rahul. If you head over to Rahul, go into the focus decoding, you can see that you can go to the pages back here. And once you rank up, the exotic right here will become available, and that's how you get this exotic. Now, first up, let's talk about what the Mask of Fealty exotic helmet does. It comes with the exotic perk Null Factor. Withering Blade hits and bounces create a small stasis crystal and refund a portion of melee energy. Using Withering Blade to shatter crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of Withering Blades. Now, I have heard from other content creators that the using Withering Blade to shatter frozen targets is bugged right now and doesn't really work, but Bungie is aware of this and is working on fixing that already. But do not let that fool you. This helmet is still very powerful. So we are going to be on the Stasis Revenant Hunter subclass. The Mask of Fealty does work with Prismatic, but for some reason, every time I do a Prismatic build, people get upset in the comments. I don't know why. So we are going all in on the Stasis today, baby. We got the Silence and Squall Super. Not really good for DPS, but it's good at locking down areas of the map and freezing targets. We have the Gambler's Dodge. Dodging near enemies fully recharges your melee ability. This build 100% relies on you having your melee up at all times, so we're going to be building into getting our melee back as much as possible. Then obviously we need the Withering Blade. Toss a Stasis Shuriken at targets to damage and slow them. This is going to allow us to get 2 melee charges. Then we're going to be using the Duskfield Grenade, a grenade that shatters on impact, leaving behind a field that slows targets and freezes those who do not leave the volume. You could go with Glacier Grenade for more stasis crystals on the field, but with our abilities and the weapons we're going to be using, there's going to be a lot of stasis crystals on the field already, and Duskfield is just better at locking down areas. Then for our fragments, we're using Touch of Winter. Our Glacier, Duskfield, and Cold Snap grenades have enhanced functionality. Our Duskfield grenade increases slow field size and creates a small stasis crystal on the impact. So this is just yet another way for us to have a crystal on the field that we can shatter with our Shuriken. We're also going to have the Grim Harvest stasis aspect. Defeating slowed or frozen targets creates a stasis shard. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. While Grim Harvest is equipped, picking up stasis shards grants you stacks of frost armor. So not only is this building into getting our melee back, but it's building into that damage resist. This is one of the ways that we're going to get frost armor. 1 stack of frost armor is 4.5% damage resist, and it stacks up to 5 times for a 22.5 damage resist. But there is a fragment that we're going to be using later on that's going to allow us to go up to ×8 frost armor, and that is going to give us a 36% damage resist, which is huge in the end game to help keep you alive. For our first stasis fragment, we have Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional stasis crystals increases duration of this benefit. So not only with this build are we going to have our melee up pretty much all the time, but we're pretty much going to always have a grenade, and with that aspect, every time we throw that grenade, we get a shard in the middle of the dusk field, once again building into all those stasis shards that we need. Then we have Whisper of Fissures. Increases the damage and size of burst of the stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. This build is all about shattering crystals and frozen targets, so Whisper of Fissures is really nice to have. Then we have Whisper of Chains. Defeating targets while you have frost armor has a chance to create a stasis shard. So with this build, we're pretty much always going to have frost armor, so we're always going to have a chance to create that stasis shard. That stasis shard equals more melee energy. More melee energy, we can throw the Shurikens, which just keeps this build infinitely going, and this also gives you a +10 to recovery, which is nice. Then we have Whisper of Conduction. Nearby stasis shards track to your position, gives you a +10 to resilience and a +10 to intellect. This fragment isn't absolutely necessary, but it is really nice because sometimes you create shards really far away from from you. And if you're in a Grandmaster or something like that, it's not very smart to go out in the open. So Whisper of Conduction comes in handy and will allow those to come straight to you to gain that frost armor from it. Then lastly, we have Whisper of Rhyme. Your frost armor has increased duration and maximum stat count. This is the fragment I was talking about earlier. This is going to allow us to go from 5 all the way up to 8 stacks for that 36% increase to damage resist. For my weapons, I'm using the XQV hand cannon. If you guys been watching my latest videos, I cannot get enough of this hand cannon. It's really good. We've got headstone on it to create more stasis crystals on the field. And we have a Rhyme Stealer Enhanced. The enhanced version of Rhyme Stealer is going to give you 2 times stack every time you shatter a stasis crystal. So we'll only need to shatter 4 crystals to get that ×8 frost armor, as opposed to regular Rhyme Stealer that's not enhanced. You would have to shoot 8 crystals. So enhancing your Rhyme Stealer is definitely worth the materials in my opinion. Then in my secondary, we're using the Velocity Baton with Attrition Orbs. If you guys didn't know, Attrition Orbs on this grenade launcher is very unique and it makes it one of the best grenade launchers in the game. I made a whole separate video on the Velocity Baton. Make sure you go check it out. And then in the heavy slot, we are using the Salvation's Grip only because it litters the field with stasis shards. And like I said, this build is all about shattering those stasis crystals. Now for the armor mods, starting off on the helmet, I've got 2 harmonic siphons because we're using 2 stasis weapons. So this will just make the orb bigger and give you more super energy for each orb. And then we have Dynamo. It's going to reduce our super cooldown when using your class ability near a target. And we're going to be dodging a lot because remember, whenever we dodge near an enemy, we're going to get our melee charge fully back. And we're going to get super energy from Dynamo. Then on the arms, we have Impact Induction. 2 copies of it. States that causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. And multiple copies of this can be stacked to increase the potency. That's why we're using 2 of them. And then we have a Harmonic Loader on to get a faster reload on our hand cannon and our heavy grenade launcher. Then on the chest, I have a Stasis Reserve mod so I can carry more ammo for my Salvation's Grip. And I have 2 charged up mods. It's going to increase the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. So this is going to allow us to get up to 5 stacks of armor charges. On the boots, I have Absolution mod. Reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb. Got Invigoration, reduces melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb. And Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb. Then on the class item, we have Utility Kickstart. When our class ability energy is fully expended, your armor charge is consumed and you gain class ability energy for each armor charge used. And remember, we have the 2 charged up mods on our chest piece to get 5 stacks. So when we dodge, it's going to consume all 5 stacks and pretty much give half of our class ability energy back right away. Then we also have an Outreach mod, reduces the melee cooldown when using your class ability. And we have a Reaper mod. After using our class ability, our next weapon Final Blow spawns an Orb of Power. Then on the artifact, we're taking a lot of stasis mods. We have one with Frost. While Frost armor is active, stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability, aka our hand cannon and grenade launcher. We have a Rapid Impacts. Dealing damage with a grenade launcher temporarily increases the reload speed of the grenade launcher. This is going to help us out for our heavy and our energy grenade launcher. We have Power from Pain. Rapid Final Blows against weakened combatants grants you Devour, and we'll be able to weaken targets with our grenade launcher because we have concussive reload. When we damage a boss, a champion, or break a combatant's shield, it will weaken them. Then we have Wind Chill. Rapid Stasis Weapon Precision Hits grants you a stack of frost armor. So yet another way we're building into that damage resist. Then we have Armor of Aramis. While frost armor is active, taking critical damage from combatants causes you to emit a freezing burst. And since we're going to have such a high uptime on frost armor, this is going to proc a lot. And we also have Hail to the Storm. Shattering a stasis crystal releases shards of ice that damage and slow. Then last but not least, we have Served Cold. Picking up a stasis shard grants you class ability energy. So as you can see, this whole build revolves around getting your melee back and getting your class ability back. And as you can see in the footage, there is no shortage of me having my dodge or me having my shuriken. This build is very good for locking down enemies and freezing them. It's very fun. Like I said earlier in the video, the part where you throw shurikens at frozen targets is bugged, so this build is only going to get better once they fix that. If you guys want to try out this build for yourself, there will be a dim link in the pinned comment. If you guys are new here, need more Destiny 2 in your life, subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you found this helpful, follow me over on Twitch and TikTok for the live streams, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.